this is Destiny with the Star Wars lens, like this really cool combination that hasn't been done before.
I can't wait to take a Praxic blade to Mars.
Don't be a ridiculous fan, just stay cool.
Wait, we gotta squat it up and play through. Oh, yeah.
This is why we got into games in the first place. Early on, we developed this North Star, authentically Destiny, unmistakably Star Wars. It has to be something that feels like a Destiny story. It can't feel like a one-off. This can't feel like a side quest, right? Like this has to be a continuation of the Fate Saga.
I had this vision. I knew it came from the Nine.
But with Star Wars beats and Star Wars visuals.
This was uncharted territory for Lucasfilm Games, and that this is the first time we're telling a story inspired by Star Wars within a different universe.
At the heart of I think every Guardian's identity is this healthy, independent, rebellious streak.
We were excited to actually explore that scoundrel fantasy, bounty hunters, the syndicates going out and doing jobs with a ragtag team. We took inspiration from Star Wars to ensure the scale, visual language, soundtrack, and cinematic storytelling in Renegades delivered on everything fans will have come to expect from the franchise.
The Praxic blade collaboration stands out to me.
Because lightsabers are so iconic, it was absolutely critical to get that balance right.
The team at Lucasfilm Games was just so solutions focused. It wasn't, it has to be this way. It was a lot of back and forth and asking questions about how would this work? Well, let's talk about it. All right, so we need a different energy source. Okay, what would that look like?
It was all about what is best for the player.
When we announced this collaboration with the studio, James may or may not have been wearing a fighter pilot helmet.
Yeah. Destiny and Star Wars shared that same beating heart. I was like, oh, this is gonna be special.
We were given such a unique challenge. How can we achieve the aesthetic and the feel of Star Wars without losing the narrative threads that we've created so far for Destiny at the same time?
It wasn't until we found our footing with creating a foundation in Destiny that things started to click together.
I remember the first time that we went down to San Francisco. We had this really big meeting where it was the Destiny narrative folks on one side and the Star Wars narrative folks on the other side. We broke the ice by just asking, what's the bad version of this? We had a really good laugh over what that looked like. And through that, we kind of uncovered that this should be the aesthetic, the vibe of Star Wars with the truth to Destiny's narrative that we knew needed to be there too. We begin 2 months after the Edge of Fate has happened. The world has moved and changed, and we're still trying to figure out what Binding the Nine means.
The Vanguard have redacted the prophecy of extinction.
They don't want the public to panic over this prophecy.
The crux of our story is the Drifter asking us to help him break Vanguard law for good reason to confront a new rising faction of Cabal called the Barren Imperium. It's what drives Eris to help the Drifter out, as well as the player Guardian.
When we were thinking about what kinds of characters should be in this release, we thought about the kinds of archetypes we see throughout Star Wars.
Yeah, and Drifter is an easy parallel. He and Han Solo share a cocky attitude, both former criminals.
In Star Wars, there's a plethora of sassy droids. We have our own version of that through Ghosts, and Blue is no exception.
Oh, look. Thanks for nothing.
Blue is a Drifter's ghost, and I think as soon as people hear her, they'll be delighted and incredibly surprised.
Our voice cast is stacked. Dredgen Bale is portrayed by Alex Lee, who is amazing.
You are supposed to protect the people, not rule them.
And we also got Hollywood actual royalty Danny Houston to play Premier Loom, the head of the Barren Imperium. Being able to work with someone from that kind of IMDb page was such an honor, and I was completely normal the whole time.
Surrender, barbaric Imperium.
Loom became this sweeping militaristic figure that I think is going to be a really good parallel to Grand Moff Tarkin or other evil military leaders from the Empire.
So even though we're introducing new characters, we're still looking backwards at some of Destiny lore's most long-standing characters. Honor is another example of that. She's our Praxic warlock.
She's loosely meant to be a parallel to something like a Jedi in Star Wars. She was part of a Vanguard internal affairs group that would police Guardians on the usage of darkness.
Don't make me regret abandoning my post to help you.
Not now, Honor.
Yeah, she has to grow up with the times a little bit because the world has changed and a whole lot of people are using darkness now. And she gets to grow and kind of ask herself, like, am I still adhering to my own values if I allow myself to be open to these kinds of ideas?
The Drifter belongs with us!
The Drifter left your cult long ago.
And then there's Bale, Dredgen Bale.
Dredgen is a dark guardian that represents absolute darkness.
Dredgen Bale doesn't like the fact that we're ruled by a city of immortals who can't step down and that weren't elected. He's got kind of a point, but his methods for addressing that point suck. He makes many bad choices. One of my favorite parts about a lot of villains in Star Wars is that they have just like the capability of making a right choice and then consistently do not make good choices.
Bale is trying to fill a hole in his life in all the wrong ways.
And he just can't, and he never will. But man, we're gonna hope that he does someday.
The time of guardians as shepherds of humanity is over.
This has been an opportunity where you love Destiny, you love Star Wars, you want to do something with both. What are you going to put into it?
Oh my God, it was such a challenge at first, finding that sweet spot of how do we make something that can live in both worlds and not feel out of place in either, but also feel totally new and exciting. It wasn't always about where do we find the exact middle ground, 50-50 Star Wars and Destiny, because at that point, you're feeling almost a little derivative.
There's those moments along the way when we were like, this is just Star Wars. This is not the purpose of the collaboration. We want to have something kind of new that makes you think of both. I remember when we were trying to figure out what we're going to do with our new Cabal.
We started in that place where it's just Cabal wearing a stormtrooper outfit.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until we injected more of that weird alien design of a lot of these armor sets. That was kind of what switched it over from this is too derivative to this is really working. I think it comes through in the visuals and every single map. There are little Easter eggs and little treats here and there that we hit around, and Lucasfilm Games has been awesome at collaborating with us and even putting some of their input onto our maps so we can really give the players something exciting.
The switch flipped in my head like, oh, we would never have done this without this collaboration was the Syndicates.
Yeah.
We're going places with the Vex and the Elixni and the Cabal that we really weren't going to go before.
Oh yeah, and trench coats.
And trench coats, yeah. We have Vex in trench coats that are playing cards. It's so awesome, and I don't think we would have dared do that if we didn't have this opportunity.
No, and it was the perfect time in our universe to do it too. The Star Wars fans on the team just start coming out, telling their stories about what they're excited to build, and far be it from me to get in the way.
We make a lot of weapons in Destiny. How do you take a weapon in Destiny, which we have literal like 4 digits of guns, and
Understatement.
right, and make something that feels new but also does justice for Star Wars? And Blaster was really obviously the choice. They're roughly in 2 groups. There's dynamic blasters, which are intended to be harder hitting, firing a ton. Brute force. And then we have a number of balance blasters. As you're shooting, and the heat is building up, you're going to have a venting opportunity where you can hit a perfect vent. It's like functionally a reload, so you can start shooting again much faster.
Sweet. I gotta ask though, what about those Cabal blasters? Are they accurate?
What difficulty are you playing on? We have swords in Destiny, but we don't have a Praxic sword. We don't have a
do not.
lightsaber approximate. It's an exotic primary weapon that's kinetic, where you can reflect a bunch of blasts, kill enemies with it, and throw it out and get a ton of damage. Having the sandbox be able to explore this new ability ecosystem with Renegade abilities. We've taken so much of this opportunity and turned it into what we can grow.
Every corner of the game, from the art, the design, the audio, the music, the UI, the rewards, completely infused with the magic of the collaboration. It's really been a real treat to be a part of.
Yeah, it's super satisfying.
Good morning, everybody. Didn't mean to wake you up with that beat, sorry. The overarching theme for this was to create a score for this release that felt like it was cohesive as a whole. We're all talking to each other and collaborating with each other. We were able to explore different ways of orchestrating, different ways of writing with the orchestra that expand on the Destiny palette and make it fresh and new. When I look at the Star Wars scores, there were certain elements that naturally fit string flourishes or wood flourishes that would play into a certain moment. When it's like, oh, I know I want something to feel more Williams, so I'll push it, not this Williams, the John Williams. I'll push it more in that world.
Another thing too is the amount of percussion. I had some ideas that felt more full-on Star Wars, and once you flesh out the percussion arrangement, it instantly sounds more Destiny as a result.
For me, a lot of it was about framing, where when I use a lot of the Destiny themes, how I set them up and how I'm transitioning in and out of moments are much more Star Wars-y in terms of the harmony and orchestration.
I think the most exciting part about this was the opportunity to work with these guys and Mike.
You definitely made it a point to kind of bring us together and listen to each other's music.
But Brendan, you wrote something with the most beautiful oboe solo in it, and it drives me nuts that I didn't think of it first.
No one wanted to follow Brendan is what it came down to. Brendan's cues just sound amazing from the start.
I remember knowing your first high action cue. Everyone was like, whoa, because it's really fast, really intense. Josh kept on spinning around and looking at you.
Humans have to play this. Jeez.
Destiny has so many themes, and that's a great vehicle for doing the Star Wars spin.
Our first meeting was discussing that main theme, and I remember hearing it for the first time. And everybody kind of perked up when we all heard it. We're all having ideas that were just a little bit different from one another. That was all sort of impacted what the final version of the theme was.
Dredge and Bale. That kind of teed off the main theme, and the fact that we were exploring the idea of this kind of anti-Guardian character set in this story of scoundrels. We wanted something that would be a backbone to tell a longer arc story. It has a layer of ominousness to it. It has a layer of mystery to it, but it can be turned other ways.
I felt a sense of menace.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to get to experience it with players.
Just really hope that personally I've written something that they can really connect with and love, and if I can cause a couple of goosebumps in there, I'll take that as a bonus too.
I hope players get taken on a journey that inspires them and makes them feel like this world is really unique and really special.
My favorite feeling as a creator is getting to watch someone's look of like absolute surprise.
I want players to feel hope, that exciting, boundless potential that Destiny has, and world of possibility that Star Wars unlocked.
I've been waiting so long for this.